Hello. Carla just asked me to do a video on how to make the masks. So I'm going to attempt that. So what we have, if you look at the pattern that I used, we have 6 pattern pieces. Now, you really only need 3 if you double your fabric up, because you need 2 for this, 2 for this one, and 2 for this. Now, mine, as you can see, I put 85%, so these are the kids' masks that I'm making right now. So I also have, like, this one, which is the large one, and it says colored on it because I cut out a bunch, so some are white, some are colored. So what you want to do is cut out 2 pieces of each of these, and I have them all here in this box. And right now what I'm doing is I'm just sewing the face portion. So just this portion, and you want to sew the edges. So I cut it like this, and then I ironed them, and then I putting their fronts together, the right sides together, and I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch along the side. So get started on that. Now I'm doing a bunch of them, so I've kind of got it. These are all just the face portions of the mask, but I'll show you. Oh, the top one is the same pattern. So as you can see here, I've sewn a 1/4 inch along the edge. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video now until I'm done, and then we'll do the next portion. Okay, so now we have the first portion, the face sewn with the right sides together. So as you can see, that's the back side. This is the front side. It's brighter. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to sew the mouth, and this is the mouthpiece, and I've done this in a white fabric. And you just want to sew along this edge a 1/4 inch, a 1/4 inch in along the edge, and I'm going to do that for the stack that I have here, and I'll get back to you in a minute. Okay, so I'm sewing that 1/4 inch around the mouth cutout. And then I'm going to pull this off the sewing machine and show you here. Can you see that? It's white on white, so it's kind of hard to see. But, so I've sewn that. Now, the instructions say to sew on the mouth 1 and mouth 2, so mouth 1 and mouth 2. Sew fold side 5 over. So if you look at this pattern, let's see, you can see there's numbers on right here, and it says number 5. So these sides right here are number 5, and you want to sew them individually over a 1/4 inch. Okay, and you sew that towards the portion that you just sewed, so not in but out. Okay, so I'm going to do that and show you. Okay, so that is one side, and now I need to do the other side. Okay, so then I pull that off and I trim up the strings there, and now I have both sides of the mouth 1 and 2 sewn up 1/4 inch. So the instructions for the next portion is to sew cheek 1 and cheek 2, which are these portions here, 1/4 inch, sew down 1/4 inch. So you want to sew them in towards, so off sides together, so in like that. So I'll do that again here so you can see. Now if you're good at this and you're making multiple masks, what you can do is just line it up. And then just add the other one right to it, and it creates a string of them. So just like that. And then you just cut them right in the middle there. Okay, so now we have cheek 1 and cheek 2 and mouth 1 and mouth 2 all sewn up. But what we need to do is we need to match cheek 1 and mouth 1 at the dotted line. Now this is cheek 2's pattern, which is the same as cheek 1. And this is the dotted line here. Okay, so we want to match this up like so, or actually, I guess, let's see. So we want to match it up like that, right? And then we need to take the portion of the mask and match that up to that line. Just like that. Can you see that? Oh, let's see. I'm going to just pause it. Okay, so I have it all tacked up here, and you'll see it fits like that. So what I want to do is I want to sew a tacking line here on each side. So in 4 places. Here, 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 and here. Now make sure you don't sew over your needles. You're gonna, or over your pins. You will break a pin that way. And be sure at this point to do a back stitch as well when you're sewing. Okay, second side. Okay, so now as you can see, oh, there's some strings in here. Okay, so now as you can see, it is all sewn up. This is the interior mouth portion that actually touches your mouth. Okay, I'm going to pause it there as I work on all of these. Okay, so I have sewn up the edges like we see here. So sewn the mouthpiece to the cheek piece, okay, and then I have the two face pieces that have been sewn. Now I'm going to connect the two of those. So you want to take them, see how those match up right there, and we want to sew the right sides together. So place the right sides together like so, like this. Okay, and then what I like to do is just put a pin in the top right at that seam to hold that in place. That way the seam's in the right place on both the inside and on the outside, like that. And then I do another one here. Now the key to this is to pin it on the side with the mouthpiece and the cheek piece. You don't pin it on the side so that the pins are on the top side of the face pieces. The reason you do this is because there's more to concentrate on when you're sewing seam-wise on the cheek and mouth pieces. And if you don't do that, then you're kind of sewing blindly over top of them, which, you know, it works fine, but it's a lot easier to do it if you do it that way. Okay, so I've pinned 1/4 of it, and now I'm going to pin the rest of this quarter. And here we go. And then here, the other half, I'm doing 1/4 of the other half, and that piece there. And then this is the last part, and I'll show you how that looks all pinned together. Okay, so this is what it looks like all pinned together. Now, my edges don't quite match up, and I've made a bunch of these now, and they don't quite match up on all of them. So I don't know, that's the pattern. So now when you lay it down on your machine, you can start sewing. Let's see, pull that first pin out, and there's my hand. Okay, and let's see, I'm going to flip this. Nope, I'm not going to flip it around. Can't quite see, I'm sorry. So you can see the foot here, and I'm going to start sewing there, and then all the edges and stuff are all up. That way when I sew on the edges of the a 1/4 inch in, I sew within the lines of those tacked pieces before. Okay, so I have already sewn this one piece and taken all the pins out, and here is the fully sewn mask, and then you want to turn it inside out. So if you remember, the cheek and the mouthpiece are not, they're just tacked at the top and then sewn over to the other piece, and so there's an opening there. So you just fit that through like that, and then you pull it working on it. So that's partially pulled through. And I'm going to stick my finger in here and just get the corners really nice and poked through. You could use a chopstick to do that. You could use a, I think I have like a little thing called like pointy corner thing. Like, I think that's actually the name of it. It's like the purple pointy corner thing. But for this, the finger just works fine. So, and then what we got is this the mask. So this would fit over this. This is a child size one. So this would fit over just like that. And what I need to do now is iron this. And then once it's all ironed, then I can add the elastic. Okay, so that'll be next. So I just went to go iron our mask, and here it is, all nice and crisp. And now we need to add the elastic. I have cut 7 inches of 1/4 inch elastic, and oh, I just dropped it. Hold on. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is center the elastic on the mask, and I'm just going to fold it over just like that. Now you can pin it at this time, or you can just sew it. So what I'm going to do is just sew it. And there we go. Sure it's on there extra strong, going back and forth at those ends, and then just trimmed off the edges. And now I'm going to do the other side and do the same thing. So there we go. Make sure you don't sew on top of the elastic. Make sure you're just sewing okay, there we go. And I'm just going to trim off those edges. Now I'm going to take a moment to trim the little string on either side to kind of neaten it up a little bit. And there we go. Okay, so now what we have here is a mask with the elastic open on either side. So you want to loop it just like this, and then just slide it underneath your sewing machine foot. And this can be a little bit tricky. You can pin it if you need to, but I do not. So now on this, you want to make sure you go back and forth a couple times, right? Because you want to make sure it's nice and secure. Okay. And now I'm going to do the other side. A little bit.
Ooh.
Hi, Abby.
Hi.
I am doing a video on how to make these masks.
Oh.
Yeah. So you will come in right at the right moment because I need a model to put on the mask. Do you think you could do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Snip.
Okay, so I'm going to trim the edges, or trim the strings off again, just so little fingers and stuff aren't tempted to pull those off. And there we go. There's our mask. Now, if you look in here, there's a pocket, so you can put a filter in there, and you can take the filter out and then wash it. So that's one side of the mask and the other. Now, Abby's going to put the mask on, and we're going to just loop it around her ears, and loop it around. Oh, she can't see anymore. Loop it around that ear and just adjust. And there we go. So she's all done. The mask fits perfectly.
Hi.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everybody.